So for our new craft kit, we'd like to share with you the Macrame Wreath. Okay, so a lovely kind of relaxing few hours you can spend making one of these, and then you can add decoration different for each season. So currently it's in its spring mode, and then soon I'll be adding, well, in a few months I'll be adding Christmas things, and you can just change it whenever, and there's always something in the shops that you can grab, or probably things you have at home to decorate it, but we're just talking about making the wreath today. So in your kit you'll find a hoop. You'll also find an orange piece of string. That's the ruler, so the length of string that you need to cut, and then you'll have bundles of your chosen colour of string. So what I'd like you to do is cut, first let's cut just 6 of these. You're actually going to be cutting it 50, 60, 50, 54 times, something like that. So let's do it in sections. Let's not have all the cutting fun at once. So we'll just do the first 6, get those ready. It does get a little bit twisted, this soft stuff, but the effects of the combing afterwards makes it all worth the trouble. It's really nice, and you have got enough to make 9 sections. I actually there have only used 8. So if you're like big on your stitches like me, you'll have a little bit of rope left over, and maybe you could use that to create a feather, because this is the stuff that they use for those feathers that you see on also on Pinterest and Instagram, etc. Hopefully that's perfect. Great. Love it when a system works. Okay, so we'll put those away. So the first thing you're going to do is attach each of these to your rope. You're going to fold each one in half, and then you're going to attach them with what we call like a lark's head knot, conveniently. I love the word lark. So you just do a loop over the edge, and then you pull the 2 ends through. Now it doesn't matter which way round you do that. I'm just going to sort out the fact that they're not very even. 2 seconds. There. Like that. It doesn't matter which way you wrap. They look slightly different here and here. Just as long as whichever method you choose, you do that every single time so that they look the same on the front and the back. And then when you've done your 6, you can then make the decision, would you like the look of the front or the back? Most people choose to have the little lump on the front. I'll show you now. But it's totally up to you. You don't have to do what everyone else does, do you? So one moment, that's 3 on. So this would be ideal for people who've done a bit of macrame before, but also it would suit a beginner. You may just need to do a little bit more practice with your knots, but that's a good thing about macrame. It's pretty forgiving, so if you don't do them right first time, you can just do them again. So here we go. So I've got my 6 on, and like I said, it looks slightly different. Here it's got the little lump on the front. Here it's flat. Like I said, most people seem to prefer that side. So, but you do whatever you like. There you go. And then we're going to put them into sections, and we're going to ignore, I have to remember actually, we have to ignore these ones, and we're ignoring these ones. We're going to first work on the 4 strands in the middle, okay? And then the process is that you're going to do a square knot there. So a square knot is where you get 4 strands, and then the 2 in the middle do nothing, and then the one on the left is going to make like a number 4, and then the one on the right goes over the arm of the 4, and then you push that up and through the middle. Now the thing you'll find a little bit annoying about doing this, it doesn't really work hung up like you do with a plant hanger, so you need it flat, but then it moves around the table. So I've got these random glass things that are heavy, but a book or anything would do. So just put something on top of it to stop it from jiggling about, so you can have a bit more control. So I'm going to do that with this one and this one. Let me just quickly show you. So I've currently done half a square knot here and half a square knot there. Okay. Then I'm going to do the other half of that square knot. So that is where same 4 strands as the previous knot. You do a backwards number 4 with the right hand strand. The left hand strand goes over the top, and then that's the one that you pull up and under through the centre of the 4. Make sure those 2 in the middle don't get in a pickle, and just repeating that. Backwards number 4, left hand one over the top, pulling that through the middle, raising it up to the top. Okay, so what I have there is a square knot here and a square knot there. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to evict those two there, and I'm going to evict those two. So I'm left with the very 4 middle strands, and I'm going to do a square knot with those. So that's where I'm going to do a correct side number 4 and an incorrect side number 4, one after the other. So let me just quickly do those for you. So evicting the 2 from the right, 2 from the left, you should have the 4 left. So this is very much a repeat process. Once you've figured out one of the little triangles, you'll hopefully have it, and then you'll be able to just do it over and over again. So it's quite a nice project that you can pick up and put down again and do, you know, as and when you've got a free 20 minutes. That's quite nice. Okay, so now I have the start of my little triangle. The next thing I'm going to do here is a gathering knot that's going to, so not a gathering knot, a half hitch that's going to do those little kind of what I call like the caterpillars here and here. Okay, so the process for this, I'm hoping the other camera is grabbing this action because it's probably pretty hard to see from there. Fingers crossed. So wait again. So I'm taking the one from the left hand side, and that's going to travel to the middle, and on the way it's going to pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of rope, and each time those ropes are going to wrap around this one we're going to call the anchor twice. So the first time is on the space in the left, like so, and then the second time you do like a little U shape and then pass it underneath, and then that secures it in position. Then you go again, so rotating it once over to the left of itself, and then the second time is over to the right but looping through itself. So we've got one once, rotating over to the left there, once it's down and under and through, like so. So we're just going to repeat that. So this is definitely the one that people find the hardest, so you know, don't feel stressed out if you're watching me and thinking, wow, she's going fast. And I've got lots of other videos on a little bit slower and a little bit closer up on this knot if you need a refresher. So all the way down to the bottom. Excuse me, I'm going to cough, but I'm not ill, I promise. And then I start on the right hand side, so again taking that anchor, the furthest one on the right, and doing that first, then doing the next one it passes, and the next one. Keep looking at each side and comparing and making sure that they look similar. So this one doesn't actually, there you go. And then yeah, I haven't got much more to do really, which is great. I love this yarn, it's so soft to work with. The only problem I shall discover is the brushing of it later. That's quite the challenge, and you never really feel 100% satisfied. You never feel like you've nailed it. But once you put it up on the wall, it looks great, so sometimes you just have to not worry too much. Okay, so I've taken that all the way down from the left and from the right, and you'll see it's open now at the bottom. So what I do is I just choose one side that is going to do exactly the same again. So I'm going to pass it through its partner. It doesn't matter which way round you do it, excuse me, like that. And then the second time, which way am I doing that one, is knotting it in position like that. So I'll just try and remember now which side I did that on, and I'll make sure I do exactly the same for all of them. So hopefully you can kind of guess what you've got to do next. You're just going to cut 6 more lengths of thread. You're going to attach it here, 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 all the way around, and then you're going to do exactly the same. I find it easier to do each section one at a time, otherwise maybe you get a bit confused, overwhelmed by all the threads that are there, but totally up to you. And then when that's done, I'll just run through the final process, which is cutting all the edges. So I'm just going to pretend, because I've already got a completed model here. So what I would suggest you do is, if you wanted, I don't know if I've got anything to hand, just get a scrap of paper and choose the length you'd like your fringe to be. So I think I'm going to go about this long. Okay, so I'm going to use this scrap of paper as almost like a ruler. And then what I'd suggest is that you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at a time. And then if you get quite a good quality pair of scissors, the best ones you have in the house, and then obviously you're limited by your shortest one. Hopefully, like mine, you've got a few that are long. So I'm just going to cut them all just beyond the length of my ruler. These aren't the best scissors, but there you go. Okay, like that. So I did it in that angle. And then the second time I put it again, I use it as a little ruler, pop it up. It's funny actually when I'm making this video, because I've always done this at the very end of the class when the whole thing is finished. But I'm actually seeing now the error of my ways. It would actually probably be easier if you just did it each time and had them all cut, ready to go. So there you go, I've learned something new today as well. So there we go. So it's only a rough cut for now, because now you need to sit patiently, put on a movie, make a cup of tea, and you need to brush them all out. Now the first section takes a while because they're all twisted, so you need to help them untwist. You may even need to use your fingers to kind of separate them a little bit, and then they'll be easier to brush. There's 2 ends to the comb, so obviously the thicker end may be used first, and then the second, the smaller teeth, use those second. So that's going to take some time. So you're just going to need to relax, comb, 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 and then when you're happy that you've done the whole thing and it's pretty well combed, then you can do your final cut. And again, I would say use a ruler or a little scrap of paper to make sure, especially if you're fussy, that those edges look similar. I've even once done it with a rotary cutter. That was really good fun, to get my edges really nice. So yeah, once that's all done, and then if it's not too rigid, and especially if you've got long fringes like that, it might get a bit wobbly. So what you can do is you can spray some starch on it if you do have some at home, but alternatively you can just put some water and some corn flour in a little spray bottle, spray it, leave it out to dry on the radiator or in the sun, and then that should stiffen it up. I've even had reports of people saying that they've just used hairspray and that's been totally fine. Then you can finish them off, just add a little bit of ribbon anywhere, somewhere, or a piece of string to hide it, to display it. And then these were some little wire flowers, so it's pretty messy on the underside, but they've just been attached in a little gathering by there, hung up on the wall, and it looks great, eh? All right, hope you enjoy making these. Like I said, a good few hours of fun, hopefully. All right, see you soon.